From emperors who ruled millions to knights who served a single lord, German nobility had a complex hierarchy that shaped European history. Let's decode every title. One, Kaiser, Emperor. The Kaiser stood at the absolute pinnacle of German nobility, representing the highest authority in the Holy Roman Empire, and later, the German Empire. The title derives from the Latin Caesar and carried immense prestige across Europe. Only a select few held this distinguished position throughout history. The most famous Kaiser was Wilhelm II, who ruled until 1918 when the German monarchy was abolished. The Kaiser commanded vast territories, controlled multiple kingdoms, and held divine authority over millions of subjects. Their crown was adorned with the most precious jewels and symbolized supreme power. The Kaiser's word was law, and they appointed all other nobles beneath them. This title represented not just political power, but also religious significance as the protector of Christendom in Germanic lands. 2. König, king. Directly below the Kaiser came the König, or king, who ruled over individual kingdoms within the German Empire. Bavaria, Saxony, Württemberg, and Hanover each had their own König, who governed with considerable autonomy. These kings commanded their own armies, collected taxes, and administered justice within their territories. The king's crown was slightly less ornate than the Kaiser's, but still magnificent. Kings maintained royal courts filled with nobles, advisors, and servants. They could grant titles to those beneath them and owned vast estates across their kingdoms. The relationship between König and Kaiser was complex. Kings swore allegiance to the emperor, but maintained significant independence. Royal bloodlines were carefully preserved through strategic marriages with other European royal families, strengthening political alliances and ensuring dynastic continuity. 3. Großherzog, Grand Duke. The Großherzog, or Grand Duke, ranked just below kings and ruled over grand duchies, territories smaller than kingdoms but larger than regular duchies. Grand dukes held substantial power and often competed with kings in wealth and influence. Notable grand duchies included Baden, Hesse, Mecklenburg, and Oldenburg. The Grand Duke's coronet featured a distinctive design that set it apart from both royal crowns and ducal coronets. These nobles commanded their own military forces and diplomatic corps. They minted their own currency and maintained elaborate courts that rivaled those of kings. Grand dukes often acted as mediators between the Kaiser and lesser nobles. Their territories were strategic, and their loyalty was crucial to maintaining stability within the empire. Many Grand Ducal families survived into the modern era and maintained their social prominence. 4. Herzog, Duke. The Herzog, or Duke, governed duchies throughout German territories and represented powerful regional authority. Dukes controlled significant military, resources, and vast agricultural lands. The ducal coronet was characterized by its elegant design featuring specific numbers of pearls and arches. Historic duchies like Prussia, Saxony before it became a kingdom, and numerous others shaped German political landscape. Dukes maintained castles, collected feudal dues, and administered justice in their domains. They commanded knights and lesser nobles who swore fealty to them. The Duke's court included various officials who managed territorial affairs, taxation, and military operations. Dukes often served as key advisors to the Kaiser and played crucial roles in imperial politics. Their families intermarried with royal houses across Europe, creating intricate webs of dynastic connections. 5. Fürst, Prince. The first held a unique position in German nobility. The title could refer to sovereign princes who ruled independent principalities or to members of royal families. Sovereign princes governed territories with considerable autonomy, maintaining their own laws and administrative systems. The princely coronet displayed distinctive styling that indicated their rank. Principalities like Liechtenstein, Schwarzenberg, and Thurn and Taxis wielded significant influence despite their smaller size. First families accumulated enormous wealth through trade, mining rights, and strategic land holdings. They maintained diplomatic relations with neighboring states and occasionally fielded their own military forces. The title Fürst was also granted to eldest sons of royal families, adding complexity to its usage. These princes played essential roles in imperial councils and often served as mediators in political disputes among higher nobility. 6. Landgraf, Landgrave. The Landgraf or Landgrave was a title specific to certain German territories, particularly Hesse and Thuringia. This rank was roughly equivalent to a count, but carried greater prestige and authority. Landgraves governed expansive territories and held judicial powers over their domains. The title literally means land count and indicated authority over a significant geographic area. Landgraves commanded substantial military forces and collected taxes from numerous towns and villages. Their coronets featured unique designs that distinguished them from regular counts. The Landgrave of Hesse-Kassel, for example, was among the wealthiest nobles in Germany, partly due to renting soldiers to foreign powers. Landgraves maintained elaborate courts and patronized arts and sciences. They built impressive palaces and fortresses that still dot the German landscape today, serving as reminders of their historical power and cultural contributions. 7. Markgraf, Margrave. The Markgraf or Margrave originally commanded border territories, the marks or marches, defending the empire against external threats. This military origin gave the title particular prestige and authority. Margraves of Brandenburg eventually became electors and later kings of Prussia, demonstrating the title's significance. The Margrave's coronet reflected their martial heritage with bold, commanding designs. These nobles maintained strong military traditions and fortified castles along frontier regions. Margraves collected special taxes to fund defensive operations and commanded professional soldiers in addition to feudal levies. Their territories often expanded through military conquest and strategic marriages. The Margrave held both civilian and military authority, making them particularly powerful regional rulers. Notable Margravates included Brandenburg, Baden, and Ansbach. Their descendants often rose to even higher ranks as their territories grew in importance. 8. Pfalzgraf, Count Palatine. The Pfalzgraf, or Count Palatine, represented a special category of count with palatial privileges. They acted as representatives of royal authority. The term Palatine derives from the Latin palatium, meaning palace, indicating their close association with royal courts. Count Palatines administered justice in the name of the king or emperor and collected royal revenues. The most famous was the Count Palatine of the Rhine, who served as one of the 7 electors of the Holy Roman Empire. These nobles wielded influence far beyond typical counts, participating in choosing emperors and shaping imperial policy. Their coronets featured distinctive designs marking their elevated status. Count Palatines maintained sophisticated courts that attracted scholars, artists, and diplomats. They governed strategic territories along major rivers and trade routes, ensuring substantial wealth from tolls and commerce. 9. Graf, Count. The Graf, or Count, formed the backbone of German nobility, governing counties throughout the empire. Counts numbered in the hundreds and varied widely in wealth and influence. The title derived from administrative officials in Charlemagne's empire who evolved into hereditary nobles. Counts administered justice, collected taxes, and maintained order within their territories. The comital coronet featured a specific number of pearls on a circlet, distinguishing it from higher ranks. Some counts governed extensive territories, while others held modest domains. They owed military service to higher nobles and the emperor, providing knights and soldiers during wartime. Counts maintained castles that served as administrative centers and defensive strongholds. Many count families survived for centuries, carefully managing their estates and political alliances. The title Graf remains part of many German family names today, indicating noble ancestry. 10. Freiherr, Baron. The Freiherr, or Baron, represented the lower tier of titled nobility, but still commanded respect and privileges. The title literally means free lord, indicating independence from servitude to higher nobles, though they still owed allegiance to the emperor. Barons typically governed smaller territories, perhaps a single town or several villages, with surrounding farmland. The baronial coronet was simpler than higher ranks, but still denoted noble status. Freiherren managed local justice, collected modest taxes, and provided military service when required. Many served in administrative positions at royal and ducal courts, gaining influence through service rather than territorial extent. Baron families often accumulated wealth through trade, professional military service, or royal favor. Some Freiherren received their titles relatively recently compared to ancient noble houses, as the title was commonly granted for exceptional service to the empire or crown throughout German history. 11. Ritter, Knight. The Ritter, or Knight, formed the foundation of the German noble military system. While technically the lowest rank of nobility, knights held crucial importance in medieval and early modern warfare. The title was earned through military service, though many knight families became hereditary. Knights swore oaths of fealty to higher nobles, pledging military service in exchange for land grants or monetary support. A knight's honor and reputation were paramount. Their word was their bond. They followed strict chivalric codes governing behavior in war and peace. Knights maintained armor, weapons, and war horses at considerable personal expense. Many knights held small estates called manors, governing a single village or farmstead. They served as local administrators, judges, and military commanders when called upon. The title Ritter could be granted by kings, dukes, or even the emperor himself for exceptional bravery or service. Thank you so much for watching this complete guide to German noble titles. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about European nobility, royal hierarchies, and aristocratic traditions, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss our future videos.